Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening. It's the Let's Talk the Cutler broadcast, the Let's Talk the Cutler family. It's September the 22nd, and here we are we're here on this Tuesday, and I'm looking at the family and friends coming in already and trying to find out who's going to be the LTTC VIPs for this evening. And you've already chimed in the chat room, and that's going to be Jackie, Hattie, and Zara. You are the LTTC VIPs for the evening. Congratulations to you all, Jackie, Hattie, and Zara. Why don't you all, hey, lady, how are you doing? As you all are coming on in the room and in the chat, why don't you go ahead and do a thumbs up on this conversation? Go ahead and share it on your respective pages and let everybody know that we're going to talk for the next 1,800 seconds. I'm going to be in your living room, your family room, your den, your kitchen, in your cars if you're listening. But if you're watching from your cars, make sure that you pull over and that you're safe, all right? We got to look out for all of the LTTC family members and the virtual book club members to make sure that we're all doing well and that we're all connected and that we're all accountable and that we're all responsible. We're connected, we're accountable, and we are responsible. I hope that you're doing fine. I hope that you're having a good Tuesday. I hope that you're having a good Tuesday on this 22nd of September. All right, make sure again that you go ahead and share and like the conversation because we're going to jump right into the conversation this evening. I'm so excited about it, really, really, really excited about it because I listen. I started to just when the screen came on, I just started to sit here and hold this can just like this to see if you all know where we're going with this conversation. This is going to be pretty relevant. This is going to be pretty relevant tonight. We're going to chit chat about this can of Flat Aid. You know, some people used to have Fix a Flat, but we're going to talk about this and see where it fits into our lives and things of that nature. All right. Hey, Cousin Linda, it's good to see you. Listen, why don't you all, again, go ahead and do a thumbs up, like the conversation, make sure that you share it. Of course, make sure if you haven't that you do subscribe and that you hit the bell to get notifications to let you know whenever I'm online. It's so good to see some of you. I see some of you watching. You're not quite in the chat rooms yet. Come on over into the chat room and talk about it with us. Let's talk to Cutler. Let's all talk this evening. Make sure if you have not done so, that you get your copy of the my latest book, Billboards to Better, 366 Daily Sources of Motivation and Inspiration Along the Highway of Life. Make sure that you get this from Amazon or gbcutler.com. Either way, just make sure that you get it. You all know what we do. For 1,800 seconds, I'm with you, and we're going to take a look at our sources of motivation from Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and that will include tonight, this evening session. And then Thursday, we do the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, of course, you know, it's all day your way. Use that saying for your meditation, your conversation starters, do whatever you want to do. I hope everybody's doing fine. How are you all? Again, I see some of you watching, you're not quite in the chat. Come on over in the chat and just say hi so I can see who you are and know that you're here. So good evening, family. Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, and good evening with lots of love. You all, let's talk about this September 20th lesson. Let's talk about this September 20th quote, this source. I'm telling you, it literally blew my mind when I went back to read it. Again, you all, I tell you what, make sure that you share. Go ahead and share so that others can come on and join. If you want to start a watch party or something, do that. But invite them to come on over here so we can chit chat and just talk it on over. Hey, Mom, I see you in the conversation tonight. But let's take a look at September 20th, you all. Hey, Sonia, let's take a look at September 20th. It says, life, like a good set of tires, requires alignment and balance. Let me read that again, because we are going to unpack this source of motivation and inspiration. And I'm telling you, I hope we can get to the other two. But life, like a good set of tires, requires alignment and balance. What is that all about? This is about maintenance. It's about self-care. It's about self-love because life can literally wear you out. It can wear you down and it can cause you to go off your path. Have you ever seen a set of tires after they've been on a car or a truck or an SUV for so long that when they wear down, once upon a time, that vehicle, you could almost let the steering wheel go. And when you had those new tires on where none of it was worn down, you could let the steering wheel go. And if the tires were balanced and if they were aligned, then the car could just go right on down the highway for just a little while without you holding the steering wheel. It could do that. But after a while, after you've gone around all the curves on the road, after you've hit some potholes, and after you've gone up and down a few little hills and mountains, and after you've driven in the rain and through the snow, and after you've done all of that, the tires can wear down. They can lose their alignment. After you hit so many bumps in the road, the car would need to be aligned. Our lives are just like that. After we've hit so many bumps in the road, after we've hit potholes in the road, after we've driven through the rain and the snow and the sleet and the storms of life, after we've gone up the mountains and down the hills, after we've gone around enough curves, we get worn out and we get worn down. And so our lives are just like that good set of tires. They need to be realigned. They need to be realigned because alignment means they start tilting one way or the other. And we need to make sure that our tires are aligned in our lives so that we can stay on focus and we can stay on track and we can keep the prize ever before us and we can keep our goals ever before us. How are all of you all doing this evening? Come on and like the comment as you share it, as you're coming in the room. We're just talking about making sure that our lives are like a good set of tires, that we are aligned and that we are balanced. We don't want our cars to veer to the left or to veer to the right. We want our tires. Yes, Jackie, you hit the nail on the head. We want to make sure that our tires, the tires of our lives, don't lose traction. We want to be that all-season tire. But guess what? Every now and then we've got to get some kind of maintenance. And so that's what we've done this evening. Again, when we come here these Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're pulling into the service station. We're pulling into the mechanic shop so that we can have our tires checked. And once upon a time, you all, I know a little bit more about tires than maybe I do now, but I still know this. So when we talk about even having your tires balanced, when we talk about having tires balanced, it means that sometimes your tires are taken off and they're put on the side and they're put on this machine where they would just rotate to see if they rotate smoothly like this or if they wobble when they turn. And what the mechanics would do, they would take this little piece of metal and it was called a weight, and they would just put it on the rim and then they would hit it here to make sure that when it starts spinning again, it would not wobble. It is the same way in life. Having your tires balanced means that you have the weight properly and evenly distributed in life. What am I saying? I'm saying whatever we're carrying, whatever we're dealing with, let's just make sure that it's properly and evenly distributed in our lives. Sometimes we have to take some things off of our plate. Sometimes we have to put some things on our plate. Sometimes we have to shift where they sit on the plate of life. You've just got to do that. And I'm telling you, I didn't even put it in this quote tonight, but not only does life require alignment and not only does it require balancing, but it also, like those set of good tires, it requires rotation. Because rotation means that the tires are taken off. So the front tires may be put on the back and the back on the front. The left side tires put on the right side tires put on the left. That's what rotation is. Sometimes, how many of you all know, sometimes you've just got to reassess, reevaluate, and rotate the priorities in your life. There is nothing wrong with reprioritizing the things that happen in your life. Sometimes we've just got to reprioritize. Look at what's going on in your life. Maybe it's your car. Maybe it's your family matters. Maybe it's some health related issues. Maybe it's your emotional well-being. Maybe it's your finances. There's some times in life when we've just got to reshift and reevaluate and reassess and rotate the priorities in our lives because we can't carry all of them in our hands at one time. Sometimes you've got to put your priorities on a wagon, but just pull them along. They're still yours. They're still with you. They're your priorities, but they're not in your hand at the moment. They're just in your wagon. Doesn't mean that you've forgotten them, but you're just reshifting your priorities. So our lives are just like a good set of tires. They need to be rotated, shifting those priorities. They need to be aligned so that we don't veer off the highway, so that we don't lose traction. And they need to be balanced. So that the weight is evenly distributed so that we don't give out prematurely. Do you not know that sometimes that is where some illnesses come from, things like hypertension. Sometimes that comes from, and stress and all. Sometimes, and I know I have healthcare medical professionals who are on. Sometimes some of that stuff that we carry will manifest itself in our lives. And so we've got to be careful. So really, I'm telling you, I'm just trying to save somebody's life tonight. Reshift the priorities. You can't carry it. Your hand is only so big. You can't carry so many things in your proverbial hand. If you can't carry so many things in your real hand, it means that you can't carry some things in the proverbial hand of your life. Drop it in the wagon. It's okay. Drop it in the wagon. It is okay. And you all, a whole lot of stuff is going on. And we're trying to carry a lot of that stuff. I mean, look what's going on with the social conditions, the civic conditions, the health conditions that are going on in life. And while all of that is happening, guess what? In our individual lives, we got things that are going on. But I want us to stop and breathe tonight. I want us to stop and breathe and say, you know what? Thank God I'm talking with Cutler tonight, because it reminds me that I've got to stop and breathe and rebalance and reshift and refocus and reprioritize and reevaluate and reassess. Absolutely. Because my life is just like a good set of tires. I didn't say any of our lives is like a bad set of tires. Our lives are like a good set of tires. Right? Balance, shift, and align. Rotate. I'm telling you all, listen, you all met me on an evening when I really gave some thought to this. And I thought, you know what, I've got to do this for myself. And I want to encourage the Let's Talk the Cutler followers to do the same thing. If you all haven't done so, when you come into this room, go ahead and do a thumbs up, like the conversation, and share and subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell. All right. But again, let's make sure that we understand the value of your lives. The value of your life. Absolutely, like a good set of Goodyear tires, a good set of Pirelli tires, a good set of Continental tires. I'm telling you, our lives have value and meaning, and we have to take care of it, because you know what? A lot of times, you all, if you don't take care of yourself, nobody else is going to take care of you. And that's not to be cynical and say, hey, people are going to walk over me and that kind of stuff. No, what I'm really saying is this is about self-maintenance. This is about self-maintenance, and it's about self-value, and it's about self-care, and it's about self-love. Know that you are a good set of tires. And if you can't roll along the highway of life and carry yourself, how in the world are you going to carry somebody else? All right? So then, again, make sure you get the book. Well, let me tell you something. I enjoy these conversations with you all, because just as much as I'm bouncing in this seat, talking with you all, I'm speaking to myself. It's a poignant reminder to me as well. It's a poignant reminder to me that, you know what, do not let your life go flat. How long can you travel on a flat tire? You can't travel that far on a flat tire. It's the same way in life. You cannot travel that far on a flat tire. So what you need to do is to make sure that when your tires start going flat, you've got the proper tools. You've got something to inflate your tires. Cutler, what in the world am I going to inflate my tires with? Well, in this highway, along this highway of life, as we are a good set of tires, every now and then, what you need to keep in the trunk of your car, or if we were real country, as we would say down in the country, in the boot of your car, what you need to keep in the trunk of your car, the same way you would keep Fix-A-Flat or a jack, you keep some extra joy in your car. So that way, when your tires start going flat, you know what? You immediately inflate your car, your tires, with a little bit of joy. It'll carry you a long way. And that you inflate your tires with a little bit of hope. It will remind you that everything is going to be okay. Joy teaches you how to have contentment in the moment. No, I'm not necessarily happy, but I'm content in the moment. Inflate your tires with joy. Inflate your tires with hope. Hope means that I expect it to get better. And then inflate the tires of your life with always carry around a little bit of love. If you don't carry love, listen, you make sure that you have love for yourself. Hear me clear. Make sure that you are carrying in the trunk of your own car of life. Make sure that you carry enough love for yourself so that when your tire starts to go flat and when the air starts to seep out of your tire, you will see an indicator on your dashboard that said the air pressure is getting low. Remind yourself that I love myself. Inflate your own, Lord have mercy, inflate your own tires. That's right. Keep the essential tools in your car of life. Jackie, you're on the road, cousin. I'm telling you all, keep those extra, keep those tools, keep a little bit of joy, keep a little bit of love, keep a little bit of hope. You're going to be all right. Listen, we're talking for 1,800 seconds and I done got caught up. Let's go on, you all, to September 21st. Let's go to September 21st and see what it has to say. Again, September 21st says, get what you need from God quickly and you will enjoy it a lot longer. The book of Job and the 22nd chapter, 21st verse, it reminds us that we should agree with God quickly and good will come to you. I wrote this quote, I developed this one because it reminds me that there's some things that are ours that we don't necessarily go after. In fact, this particular quote reminds me of this past Christmas when I bought two of my nieces Christmas gifts. They never came, you all, to pick the gifts up until February. They didn't come to pick the gifts up until February, but guess what? By then, they had missed out on playing with the toys for 2 months. They'd missed out on wearing the clothes for 2 months. If they would have only come to get what was already theirs, they could have enjoyed it much longer. Have you ever gone to a store, any store, not necessarily a grocery store, but a department store, a discount store? Have you ever gone to a store and you looked for a particular item that you thought about and you deliberated as to whether or not you should buy it, but you didn't buy it, and then you went back a few days later or weeks later or even months later, and when you went back and you decided to get it, maybe it was no longer in stock. Maybe that item had been discontinued. So it means that when you opted not to get what you could have gotten, you've now missed out either for a short term or for a long term. And there are some things in life that are already yours. I'm telling you all, there are some things in life that are already yours. And as soon as we realize that these things are ours and that we have a right to them, we will stop leaving them on the shelf. We won't walk into the store of life and leave those things on the shelf. We'll say, you know what, that belongs to me. It's already paid for. It is mine. It's mine. And guess what? I know I have shoppers on the line tonight because sometimes when you go to get a thing off a shelf, you might have to stretch to reach up and get it. You might have to stretch to reach up and get it. Or you might have to step on a little step ladder or stool to reach up and get it. Or maybe, just maybe, you might have to call somebody else to help you get it. But for goodness sake, stop leaving it on the shelf. So I challenge you all, do not leave the store of life without the things that belong to you. Life itself belongs to you. Life is indeed a gift. It belongs to you. Don't you know that the quicker there's peace that belongs to you? And don't you know that the quicker you enjoy peace, the longer you will enjoy it and the less you will have to deal with chaos? Peace is yours. It belongs to you. Even if it means standing on your tiptoes and stretching to get your peace, or if it means talking to other people to say, hey, help me come and get my peace, or hey, you get out of my life so I can get my peace. Whatever it means, you get it. These are things that belong to you. I'm telling you, Cutler, how do you know that peace belongs to all of us? Because you know what? Jesus had a disciple. He had a conversation rather with his disciples, and he said to them, you know what? Y'all don't really know how to handle life. You're not quite prepared for what life is going to look like. He said there's a whole lot of chaos. So he said to them, my peace I give you. Peace I give you. My peace, not as the world gives you, but the peace that I have, I'm giving to you. You all, do you not know the peace already belongs to you? So when there's chaos going on in your life, you've got to speak to that and say, no, 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 no. Peace belongs to me. It's already mine. And if I have to be uncomfortable and stretch myself to get it, guess what? I'm getting it. I'm getting the things that are already mine, the things that belongs to me, because they were already given to me. And how offensive it would be for me not to accept the things that have been given to me by the God of life. It's almost like I bought those Christmas gifts, and what if my nieces would have never come to get them? If they would have never come to retrieve them? It would have been saying, I know I have something there that I don't want. I have something that is already mine. And you all, we have something that is already ours. Just go after it. Just go right after it. Peace is one thing that belongs to us. I'm telling you, it belongs to us. Faith belongs to us. Faith belongs to us. Yes, sometimes you've got to say, listen, I'm going to speak this into existence because these are the things that are mine. They belong to me. Faith helps you. We talked about it, I think, a couple weeks ago, a couple sessions ago. Faith helps us to navigate through life. And I believe that I need every single thing that helps me to navigate through life. Don't you know, if you start walking in your faith earlier, the quicker you walk into it, the longer you will enjoy it. I don't know how much time I have left on this earth, but guess what? I'm going to live in the abundance of everything that God intended me to live with. I'm going to have it all. I'm going to have, and I'm not talking about material things, yes, but I believe they will come. But I'm talking about the peace of mind and not living in drama, and not living in mess. That is how I want to live. That is how I'm going to live. And I know I can navigate my life through faith because, again, God has given every man, woman, boy, and girl a measure of faith. It used to bother me. It used to bother me so much when I heard people say, oh, you know, you're just living beneath your privilege, because I thought all of a sudden that they had this superiority complex and they thought that they were better than anybody else. But what I realized that there's some things that we don't have to put up with in life. I understand now we don't have to put up with some things in life, you all, and neither did you. There's some trials that we were not meant to bear. There are some tribulations that we were not meant to traverse, some hurdles that we were not meant to jump. Some issues in life that we were not meant to have to go through. And if we would just learn how to accept the inheritance that's ours. And again, I'm not talking about worldly prosperity, although I enjoy that and I think we all should, but I'm talking about the ability to have peace rather than prosperity, the ability to have hope rather than havoc, the ability to have contentment over confusion. I'd rather have those things, because those are mine. And I'm not espouting a poor man's mentality either. Because I do believe that there's some things in life. God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. And not only does he own the cattle on 1,000, God owns the hills too. He really does. Right? But really, I just want to motivate us and inspire us to walk into what is already ours. And to contend, you know, there was one scripture that says, listen, you got to fight sometimes for what's already yours. And I'm going to put this plug in here. Even when we fight so many different ways, we fight so many different ways. And one of the things I want you all to fight by going to that voting booth and going to those voting polls. Let me just put that out there. Listen, because you all do know this is an election year. Fight with your vote too. Right? Let me go on. Y'all, I told you we only got 1,800 seconds, and I'm in y'all in the family rooms, the den, the kitchen, and all that. Have you all liked the conversation tonight? Go ahead, and if you haven't done so, do a thumbs up on this conversation. Make sure that you share the conversation as well. I'm telling you all, I'm telling you. So far, we've talked about life being like a good set of tires, and we've talked about getting what you need from God quick. God has a whole lot of stuff for you, a whole lot of stuff for us. Say yes to him. God, I want everything that you got for me. And if you don't know how to get what he has, ask him. Show me how to get what you got for me. Ask God, show me how to get what you got for me. And I know that was probably some mixed up, messed up English, but I don't care. Show me how to get what you got for me. Y'all get out and vote. Let me just put that in there too. All right, so then, again, we're reading from Billboards to Better. I'm going on to lesson for September, or our quote for September the 22nd, because that is this evening's quote. And it reads, one of the worst things that you could ever steal from a child is his laughter. One of the worst things that you would ever steal from a child is laughter. I believe that the greatest treasure, one of the greatest treasures, and one of the most valuable commodities on the earth today are children. I believe that with my whole heart. The innocence and the purity of children reminds us of what God's plan for heaven looks like. Children remind us how to embrace life. They remind us how not to take life too seriously, how not to take ourselves too seriously, and how to laugh at ourselves. So for me, this motivational quote tonight it is a poignant reminder that if we're going to do right by any of God's creation, it ought to be the children. So I want to remind us to treasure our children. I want to remind us to have dialogue and meaningful conversations with our children. I really want us you all to be more deliberate and more intentional about engaging children and paying attention to them, because we so often say on this very platform that we are building community and maintaining connectivity. What would our communities look like without our children? What would our connectivity look like if we overlook the very ones who we've given life to and who will one day give life back to us? What would our connectivity in our communities look like? One of the most pleasant, one of the most enjoyable sounds that I will have ever heard in my entire life is the laughter of a child. From an infant, when they start laughing, there is no sound that's more beautiful than that to me. I love to hear children laugh. But one of the most piercing, one of the most heart piercing things that I would ever see is pain in a child's eyes because of the pain that's in his or her heart. So as we are in this pandemic, as we are in the midst of this health crisis, don't forget to pay attention to our children, you all. The world can be a cruel place, and the sad reality is that the world can be cruel to our children. And there are lots of people living their adult lives trying to get over the mess that was done to them when they were children. And some of the hurt came because of things that were said, things that were done, and how they were said, and who they were left in the care of. Some of that has happened, but don't you know that you can speak to a child in such a way that if you crush his dreams today, he will never dream for the rest of his life? I'm talking about our most valuable commodity, our children. Excuse me. No, we don't always get it right the first time. But when you realize that you've done wrong by your children, be the first to apologize. Because when you apologize, you show them what it is to make a mistake and to navigate life. You show them what it is to stumble and get back up again. You show them that it's okay to err, but right is always in front of you. I just want us to not stifle our children, because these children, these children are the most valuable part of God's creation. And we've got to be deliberate, you all. We've got to be intentional about reminding them that they are no less important than the mighty rivers or the majestic mountains that God created. We've got to remind them that they can laugh until their souls discover that in the darkest situations of their lives, that their value is not decreased. Let them laugh, let them enjoy life, and don't ever stifle or cut off the laughter of a child. I've heard children laugh and people say, "What are you laughing at? What's funny?" Leave them alone. Let them enjoy life. Let them enjoy every breath that God has breathed into them. Don't stifle their creativity. Don't stop them from dreaming, but let them enjoy life. You all, we have been talking for 1,800 seconds, and I want to end tonight's conversation. I hope you all have liked this conversation. Please go ahead and do a thumbs up and a like on this conversation. I want to end tonight's conversation by reading again from Who We Once Were. I wrote this one poem years ago, and it's titled, What Shall I Tell My Children? Because I want to talk about teaching them how to embrace life and to remind them of their importance in life. I want to remind them of their value and that I'm going to be intentional about doing right by you. The poem says, What shall I tell my children? What shall I tell my children who sit at my feet and ask me to reveal no great mystery nor solve the riddle of the Sphinx, but whose desire is simply to know how to exist among men? What do I tell my children about the lives they are to live, where they have come from, what they must go through, and what they must give? What do I tell them about blood, sweat, and tears that have fertilized our ground in a land where eyes have refused to acknowledge the hand that lifted the sun in the east? What do I tell them about a voice which screams so loudly that even a deaf ear could hear it whisper? I've twisted the history of your nation, infiltrated the minds of all generations, undermined the decisions of your courts. I've even sat with you on your front porch, yet you seem surprised to see me here. What do I let them know about a struggle that never ends, that we fight an enemy that eyes can't see as it moves like the wind? It touches as it goes by, accelerates and destroys our homes, and we never know from whence it came. What do we tell our children that they might know how to live among the dying and live even after they have died? That they might know we starve, though love be in abundance. Yet if it be that we have knowledge, peradventure shall we live. After I've told them all I can, and once I am sure that they understand, surely I shall urge my children to go and tell a friend. You have been with the Let's Talk the Cutler broadcast this evening for 1,800 seconds. It's been my pleasure to be in your living room, your kitchen, your dining room, or wherever I've joined you this evening. Until Thursday, stay safe, stay sane, keep your heads up, keep your hopes up, and again, take care of yourself, keep those tires balanced, keep on believing in yourself, do all that's right to do by you, get what you need quickly so that you can enjoy it, and let the children laugh. God bless you. I'll see you Thursday.